Hey homies, it's Taylor, August, and Atlas, and we are here today to share our labor and delivery story with you.
Yes, the story is crazy. Atlas is premature. He came about 2 months early, and the entire story is insane. The timing of how it happened, how much anxiety there was during the entire process, how fortunate we were to make it through certain circumstances unscathed, and ultimately it ended well. We got our boy, and I'm crazy excited about him.
Yes. Also, I did have a natural birth, so if you want to hear more about all of that, stay tuned. So the story starts on June 12th, 2019, just a few months ago. I was at work, completely normal day. I was 7 months pregnant, 31 weeks, 1 day is what I was. And everything was super normal. Nothing was going on. I wasn't feeling anything, no contractions, nothing. Went, got lunch, ate, and then towards the end of the day, I thought I had to pee, and I did have to pee. I did have to pee.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to pee, and I was on the phone with one of my colleagues. So once we got off the phone, I stood up to go to the bathroom, and when I stood up, I peed on myself. So I was like, ooh. And so I went and ran to the bathroom, cleaned up, did whatever, finished peeing, and then it was time to go anyway, so I left, put the pee pad down in the car.
And I appreciate that. They don't know the story about the pee pad, so I'm just saying for you, right? When we found out that she was pregnant back in like November, it was right after we had gotten engaged. We got engaged in August, and I'm not sure if she's gonna do that story, tell how we did, but I did my thing, So she got to tell that.
We can both do it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. So in November, when she got pregnant, the very first thing I thought was, she's gonna pee like on everything, cause like I have aunties and cousins and like friends' wives, and they peed on stuff. So it was just like I would prefer that our warranty not get messed up on our mattress. I would prefer that the brand new car I bought her not get peed in. It's just like it got heated and cool seats. You just gonna pee in the heated and cool seats?
And
no,
then turn on the heater.
And then turn on the heat. Nah, you can't do that. So I purchased like a gang of pee pads. I was putting them on the couch. I was putting them in the car.
They were everywhere. It was like we had a new puppy or something. Like it was literally everywhere. And then he wanted me to like drive around. Huh?
I said, so don't tear up nothing. Don't be peeing on stuff, man.
He wanted me to drive around with the thing under my butt like all the time. And so finally,
I was told that it was taking place. So apparently now I'm finding out that it was not taking place.
We came to a compromise where I would put the thing in the back seat, and if I felt like I had to pee, then I would put it there.
That sounds like something I'd say because it's reasonable, and I'm a very reasonable person, but we ain't had no compromise.
Yeah.
She just ain't do what I asked her to do. Yeah.
We compromised. So anyway, I had peed on myself at work, right? And so then
could have been in the car.
Then I get to the car, did have the pee pad, went to the back seat. I put the thing under there, and I didn't even tell y'all this. My friend was in the room. My friend was there when the whole thing happened. Marlia. Yeah. She was there, and I was like, girl, I peed on myself. She was like, oh my God, what? And then we're just like laughing. Everything is fine. It was time to go, so she left too. And then when we get out to the car, I'm like, girl, look, I'm gonna put this pee pad down. She was like, ah, ha, ha. So like everything was funny and whatever, and I even called you. Yeah. And I was like, bruh, like, I just peed on myself, like, it finally happened, like, it's crazy.
And the question on my mouth, did you pee in the car?
He was like, in the car? Did you pee in the car? I was like, no, I peed.
She told me she was on the highway, on the way home, and I literally said, hey, babe, I need you to pull over and put that pee pad under you and stop pissing in that car. But it was an expensive car, baby. It was Black Label. Come on now. Like, I'm not being unreasonable. Like, but go ahead, though. Continue with your story.
So I was like, I already put it down, like, stop worrying about all that. He was like, okay, cool. And he actually was home from work that day because he had hurt himself.
Yeah, I was in the weight room doing too much the night before. I'd actually ripped my chest. So, like, I really only had one arm that I could use. It was crazy. But it's just like, at the moment, it was horrible. But in the end, it was God, because by virtue of me ripping my chest, I literally stayed home from work, and her water had already broken, and she was on her way home. Did you already say that it was your water?
No.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. I was at home. That's all we gonna say. All right, keep going.
He was home already, and so then I'm driving home, and as I'm driving home, I'm like, little like squirts of pee feel like they keep coming out. Like, I'm like, ugh. And so I had like I was glad I had the liner thing, because like it kept coming out. So I was like, what's happening? Like, I can't hold my bladder. And so then I get here and he's here. I'm like, babe. Well, first I went to the bathroom and I like peed again and, you know, cleaned up and all of that, changed clothes.
Yeah.
Then I was like, yo, like, come in here and like,
so
I was like, come and see.
Yeah.
And
so
smell.
I come into the bathroom and like she and I were actually laughing at this point, because we're thinking that genuinely she just, you know, peed on herself. So
you were like, I'm right. I always knew you was gonna pee.
Yeah, that's what I said. All you do is complain about not having to be on pee pads because they hot, and you know all this other stuff.
They are hot. They have no aeration is like able to get through them.
Aeration, ain't no aeration.
No air circulation.
Ventilation. It's only one word. Ventilation.
Hot booty nation. That's what it was.
Hot booty. All right, that's what's up. All right, but what happened now? You acting so silly. I can't even remember.
I said, come in here
so
and see.
I go into the bathroom and we laughing about it, and I see her as she's standing up. It's like something still running down her leg, and it's pooling at the bottom of her foot. And I was just like, "Yo, you pissing on the floor? That's what we do." Like, come on, bro, sit back down. So again, like she's like embarrassed but not embarrassed, and like she's laughing, and I'm just like appalled because like I'm a germaphobe. I'm like crazy like that, and then it was just something weird about it. I was like, "Yo, babe, where your pants at?" So I picked up her pants and I smelled her pants. It didn't smell like urine. Like, honestly, it didn't have a smell at all. It was weird.
Once it like just kept coming and stuff, and I was like, I don't know. And that's when we're like, you know, let's investigate. So I was Googling.
I ain't even Google. I literally, don't try to make it seem like I said, as soon as I smelled it, it smelled funny. I was like, man, it smelled funny. I was like, yo, let's just go to the doctor.
Not smell funny, but it didn't smell funny.
It didn't smell at all. Yeah. The funny thing is that it didn't smell.
But I Googled and it was like confirmed, like basically if you're seeing these things, your water has broken, and he had already seen that those were the things. So then, but I'm like,
yeah, but
I was in denial.
Yeah, she was still
I was like, it's pee because I'm 31 weeks. So like, there's no way it's my water breaking. So like, that's not what it is. So I didn't care, and I was like, let's go up to the doctor. You know, it's fine. We'll go up there and we'll come back home.
Yeah, so like, yo, this is where it starts getting crazy.
When you start trying to find
because
everything.
she is in denial. So she's moving slow, like at a regular standard pace. Whereas I am losing it because I'm like, yo, your water has broken. We have to go. But she keeps insisting that, no, I can't be. I'm nowhere close to term. I still got 2 months to go.
Yeah.
So I'm running around the house. She, like, yo, my keys was like sitting right here, right? I ran back and forth past my keys, like, where are my keys? Where are my keys? Where are my keys? And she's like, they right there. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. My phone was sitting right next to it. After I grabbed my keys, I go, where my phone? Where my phone? Where my phone? And she was like, yo, Brad, calm down. Like, you doing too much.
Yeah, because he had been like asking if my water had broken for like months. Like, yeah, you always like,
lies.
You think it's your water? Like, you think it's this? You think, like, he always was like on the edge thinking I was about to have the baby. But yeah, I was definitely in denial, and I was definitely super calm. I was like, there's the keys.
She was
there's the
uncomfortably
phone.
calm. Like,
let's go. Like,
let's
go.
She was too calm. Like, she just kept calling me extra. But yet at the same time, she just around here, you know, bebopping around. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? This is what I do. Yeah, we just go up to the hospital. There's nothing
and remember the crazy thing, too, we had just been up to the hospital the day before.
The night before.
Yeah.
Not even the day.
At
the
night.
night.
It was 6 o'clock because we had gone to a breastfeeding class.
Yeah.
Literally the night before this day
so,
right here.
We talking about 18 hours later, her water breaks.
Yeah. You were like, oh, it's good that we're coming up here.
It's so much construction downtown.
Yeah.
They moved the exit and it was just a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, it was like, oh, I'm glad that we came up here so that we can get refreshed on, you know, what's all the new routes and everything on how to get here. Not knowing we're going to be right back up there the very next day.
Not morning, but
the very next day. Yeah, because my water broke. I left work like close to 4 o'clock.
Oh, and tell them what you were supposed to be doing that night.
So that day also, I actually am the current school psychologist of the year, early career in Orange County. It is one of the largest school districts in the nation, especially one of the largest districts one of the largest districts in Florida. Yeah. And that day I was supposed to receive my award, but instead I was up there at the hospital.
Superwoman. Yo, if there's any fellas watching, yo, man, get you a woman that can do both. She out here winning awards and having baggage. Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, so
at the top of her game, Brett. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So we get in the car and I'm still chilling. Oh, and so he was like, "Do you want your robe? Do you want this? Do you want that?" Because like
other thing, I had kept insisting that we go ahead and pack her
because I was actually going to pack the bag. That
her
weekend.
Overnight bag.
That weekend, I was going to pack the bag, and so he was like, "Do you want your robe? Do you want this? Do you want?" I was like, "No, we coming back. Like, I don't want anything. Like, let's go. Let's just go up here so we can get it over with. Like, let's beat traffic." Because it was like 4:30 at this point, about maybe 4:15. I was like, "Let's beat traffic. Let's just get up here so we can go on and get back." So then he was like, "Okay." So then we get in the car. Ooh, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy. So we get in the car and he has a hybrid. And he was like, we start driving. We're like out of the parking lot and everything. And we like about to get on the highway. He was like, "Hold up. This is not a time to save gas." He pressed the eco button and turned it off.
Yeah.
So that he can like.
You know what? Like, you know a little bit of that Bruce Wayne action. You know that Batman, that Batmobile. Yeah,
I was like, you're doing the most. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, what? So
hilarious.
I'm like, whatever. I'm still like chilling. But then at the same time, I went ahead and pulled up my app. So I had this app, Baby Center.
Yeah.
And I pulled it up to start tracking because I was at this point feeling like some cramps. It felt like really light period cramps. So I was like, let me just track these in case it is some contraction. I think it was like Braxton Hicks. So I start tracking them and I'm on the app pressing it and I'm seeing that they're coming like every 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. Pretty consistently and lasting like 30 seconds about. Well, that's what it was.
Okay.
So I was like, huh. So then we get there and he dropped me off at the door and all that. I go in and I went to triage. I had already pre-registered because I am nice and responsible, like filled everything out online. So that was super quick. And actually he went and parked the car and then came in and you ran in frantic and I was still chilling.
Yeah. Reason being there was no parking where I intended to park. So I ended up having to park on a different floor and the elevator didn't go to the walkway. They went over on the bridge. So I ended up having to run up an escalator that wasn't working and it was a lot. And
you ran up that escalator.
Yeah.
That one next to the
garage. Yeah. So it was a lot. And I didn't want to I jumped the barricade. Yeah, so I just didn't want anything to happen and I not be there. So, the proverbial hauling of the ass was taking place, basically, yeah.
And I was sitting down, like I said, and
Chilling.
then like next thing you know, I'm like there. I'm still looking at the app on my phone. Probably was looking at Instagram and all this different stuff. And so then here he comes like flying around the corner, and I'm like, what's with you? Why haven't they seen you yet? And I'm like, I literally just like finished. And so then they call me back and they start, asking me questions and looking over everything. And they were like, what happened? So then I told them that I was there to find out if my water had broken or if it was pee. They had me do a urine sample, and then they actually did a vaginal exam as well.
Yeah, so like this is the first point when we realized that things just weren't going as planned. Even though we came to the hospital under the assumption that something could be wrong, at no point did we ever really stop to genuinely accept that something could be wrong with the baby, that something could be wrong with Taylor. Even though I was frantic and I was moving quickly, I also still thought it was, just a scare, just an abnormality, nothing serious to worry about. But after they did that vaginal exam, the crazy thing is the doctor didn't even tell us she was pregnant. He just started.
Not pregnant.
I'm sorry, that she was in labor. He just started saying, okay, so what's going to happen?
He did the fern test, which is like a little swab, and you see if it looks like a fern, and that means it was amniotic fluid. I wasn't dilated at all. And then next thing you know, they just started doing...
Nah,
okay.
He didn't even tell us that she was pregnant.
Not pregnant.
In labor.
But,
he said, so our plan is to try to make sure that, you don't...
have the baby for another 3 weeks.
Yeah, for another 3 weeks and all this other stuff. So I was prompted to respond, so you're saying that she's on bed rest. And he shook his head no, and he pointed at the bed and that she was laying on. I was like, she can't go to work, she needs to stay home on bed rest. That's what I said. And
he went like that.
Yeah.
And you were like, so yeah, bed rest. And then he was like, no, this bed, the hospital, she's staying here.
Yo, and that's when my stomach dropped, because that was the point that I realized that we were in over our heads. We weren't prepared for this. We had been to like 3 or 4 classes at this point. I had talked to a bunch of my friends. We had watched a bunch of videos, and at no point did anybody let me know that my wife was going to be in the hospital for 3 weeks fighting to keep the baby from coming early because his lungs weren't developed. And I was devastated. Like I was... Go ahead.
So, yeah, I had prepared a lot. Like I just said, we went to that breastfeeding class the night before. We had already been to a labor and delivery class. We had also gone to the hospital tour. We had online materials from the hospital that we had already gone through as well. We were practicing birthing techniques. I, of course, went to all my doctor's appointments. I was taking prescription prenatal vitamins. Everything was always perfect. I was always in good health. Placenta was always good. Baby was always good. So for this to happen,
no smoking, occasionally exercised, was eating healthy.
And like no smoking even before I was pregnant. Like I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker.
Drinking.
Like I don't drink. Like healthy, young.
Not in a stressful situation.
No.
Like your job inherently has some stress components, but
over
overall,
the summer,
over the summer,
is super stress free.
Yeah.
So there was no warning sign, no risk factor, no indication that this should have happened. And so it was very shocking. And so for them to say you're going to be in the hospital for 3 weeks, I'm trying to wrap my mind around that now. I just left from work. My water broke at work. I even planned and scheduled all of my appointments for June so that I wouldn't have anything that I would have to cancel in July, just on the slim chance that he could have come just a week or 2 early. So I'm thinking that I've got all my ducks in a row, and yet here we are, and I'm having to be now in the hospital for 3 weeks. So I texted Marla and just said, like, girl, I'm in the hospital until the baby comes. Like, I'm in here for 3 weeks and I'm not coming back. And that was the only person that I really contacted. I knew she was gonna handle the rest and take care of the appointments and all that. Cause Marla, like, that's my dog for real.
Yeah, I like Marlon. She's good people.
Yeah, I'm going to be in the hospital for 3 weeks or until the baby comes. And that they're going to try to keep him in for those 3 weeks. And then at the end of that time, they will induce me and that I'll go into labor. So then we're thinking about preparing. You were going to go home and get some stuff for me and all that. Sweetie, it's too loud. I'm going to go put him in bed so he can relax.
Lava!
It felt like lava, but I wasn't like going like this. I wasn't like
Bing, 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 bing. Exaggerator. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So I'm getting the sonogram, and you know, sonogram, they're looking for the baby, and so she's here and she's rubbed the gel on there and she's looking for the baby, and the screen's over here and we're not seeing anything yet, and she just keeps going like lower and lower and lower and lower till she's literally like
on top of the pelvis.
Yeah, and that's when I had kind of like dozed off and everything. The contractions had definitely died down because I was like able to sleep for a little bit. And by the time... Hey homies, don't forget to hit that like button. Plus, if you are at the end of this video and you're not subscribed, you already know what to do. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss the next part of this story or any of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.